Hey guys, it's Ryan, and I want to show you something that I get asked all the time with Photoshop, and that is how to remove someone from the background. Actually, to remove the background from the photo, because you want to keep the person in the photo, but you want the background to disappear. Maybe you want to go with a white background, add a custom background or something like that. And you see a lot of tutorials online for this, but they're using, say, a stock photo that's already got a clean background, or something like that. And so it's kind of difficult to show the same things that you can do if you don't have that clean of a photo to work with from the beginning. As you can see here, this gentleman, obviously his face doesn't look like that. I've masked it for, to protect his identity. But anyway, so the photo is got this noisy background behind it, and I'm going to show you how to take that out. So here we go. So first thing, I'm going to get, I've got this tablet. I've got another video where I show how I built this thing. It's pretty cool. It tilts, and I can draw right on the screen. So I'll show you what's going on there. Also, I am using my Logitech G13. Excuse me, I just hit something there. I'm using my Logitech G13 as a keyboard. I've got some programmed keys in that for changing the brush size up and down, switching back and forth on my colors, foreground and background colors, and then also the Control, Alt, and Space, Command on a Mac, Control on a PC, and then the Alt and the Space, and then undo and some things like that, just to make it easier as I'm working with the photo. So the first thing I'm going to do, well, I've actually done already, is made a copy of the background. The background image is the photo. I'll turn that off so you can see. I have this smiley face, like I said, to protect this man's identity. So anyway, there's the background. I'm going to make a new layer. As you can see, I'll drag that below. I'll give it a nice brown fill color, as you can see there, and just fill that background with brown. There we go. So now what I need to do is get a rough mask, and there are some people who will say go ahead and use the magic wand or use the quick selection tool. I'm going to show you something a little bit different because of all of the different variation. We've got variation in contrast here. We've got light and dark. We've got browns and greens and yellows. So we don't have a real good way to use the magic wand to do that. So I'm going to go up ahead of the magic wand and select the lasso tool, which again is L on your keyboard. And what I'm going to do is zoom in just a little bit so I can get, actually I'm going to zoom out first. And that was holding down Space and Command on a Mac, Control on a PC with Space will get you the zoom tools, and you can go in and out like that by dragging back and forth either with the mouse or with the stylus. This is an old Intuos 3, so it's a really old machine, tablet, but it still works. I've got a MacBook Pro from 2012, and it works just fine with that. So what I'm going to first do is I'm going to do a little trick that I've learned in Photoshop. Now I could go with I could pull out the polygon tool. I could pull out, just use the lasso tool. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down Alt, and you can see if I start to drag, I can pick up the stylus anywhere, and it'll start acting like a polygon tool, polygon selection tool on the lasso, if I'm holding down the Alt key, and that's the one that I have programmed on my keyboard, so Alt or Option, and so that way I can just click and just make points. And as I hold that down, I can also press and hold my stylus or press down the button on my mouse, and it'll give me the ability to go around curves. So I can do straight lines just by clicking, and as long as I'm still holding down Alt or Option, it will allow me to refine that edge either with a straight line or with a curve, as you see here. So I'm going to go around the ear, I'm going to roll around the hair, go around the shirt, off to the side, and get back down around to the bottom. And then when I let go, it'll finish off that selection. So I'll hold down space to move it around so I have it in view, or I could do Command 0 or Control 0 to get it fit within the window, and that's just fine. Okay, so now we have a rough selection. It goes around most of most of the details on his face and his hair and his shirt. So what I'm going to do is come down here and create a mask, add a layer mask by clicking the button, and now you see what the mask is, and you can tell that the mask is on because I have this brown fill layer that I put in behind it. So there are a couple of things you can do to refine this edge. One of them is to come in here and zoom in and grab, say the brush tool or something, and just paint on the mask itself. And that is really tedious. I mean, super tedious, because it's going to take a long time to cover all of the area of this mask. I usually only do that if I need to refine something after. Actually, I take it back. In the olden days, since masks were included on layers and things like that in the earlier versions of Photoshop, I've been using Photoshop since version 4. Back in 96, 97. Anyway, so in the old days, you would have to do something like this, and it would take forever. Let me zoom out a little bit here. But now there are some tools that you can use that make it a whole lot easier, and I'll show those to you. So I've got this layer, and on this layer is a mask. And so while that is selected, I can go up here to select. And it's one of the problems with my home-built Cintiq is sometimes it gets a little hot near the edge and I can't select things. So I want to come down from select to the refine mask, and that'll bring up this window here. I like to have it over on the side so I can see what I'm doing. And you can see it turned everything on that layer to a white color where the mask is. So let's turn on the smart radius and play with that a little bit. Turn it up somewhere in the middle. That's a good spot. And then I'm going to come down to decontaminate colors. And you can see what's happening. You can see that it's creating this feathered edge around where I made that rough selection with the lasso tool. So if I hit decontaminate colors and pull that all the way up to 100, you can see that some of these places where it's like a similar color next to each other, it cleans that up. So now I'm going to use the selection brush that it has here, and you'll see that with this little icon here. You can switch back between the hand, the zoom, so the hand would move things around, the zoom would zoom in, and the brush will refine that edge. So I'm going to zoom in here so what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in a little bit here to get close to the top of his head, and you can see that we have a white background from a window, and then his white gray hair right here, which would be really difficult with a magic wand or with the quick selection tool. So what this tool allows you to do with this refined mask is I can increase my brush size just a little bit here, and I'm going to brush over the background that I want removed, and I'll let go once I think I've got a good spot and show you what happens. And you see that tan color that was right here is now removed. And so let's just refine that a little more. Color in here. And that's getting better. And just keep going at this this mask. Let's move it around so maybe we can pull in some of the other colors too. And it won't be perfect. I mean, honestly, it's not going to be as good as coming in here in between each of the hairs that stick out. But you can see that it's pretty good. It'll leave some of those areas selected or as visible in the mask. So just keep coloring around his face, or her face if you're working on a woman's portrait, or a cat or a dog or whatever it happens to be. I mean, you can use this with just about anything to get that out. Select that object or that person or that animal or that whatever out of the background. And here's interesting, as you can see, the background color is really close to the color of his shirt, so this helps with that. And it won't be perfect, honestly. Here, let me zoom back out so you can see it's pretty close. It cleaned up that edge a little bit. That spot here, it obviously didn't get it all the way out of the way. Also over here and over there. And you don't have to zoom in to do this. I mean, you can see that it's selecting pretty well around his ear and the shoulder here without me being, zoomed in so close. So let me show you what else I like to do. Anyway, so I'll click OK, and then I will go ahead, and once it's done with that, I'll come in with a brush still on that mask layer, and I'll just zoom right in close and get the brush size up so I can see, and I'm just going to paint on the mask with black. And this is why I have this little keyboard thing, is because I can go, and if I make a mistake like that, I can hit X, or the shortcut key that I have programmed for X, and go back and forth between black and white and black and white. And then I only have one hand on my keyboard and one hand on my stylus, and I don't have to mess around with switching back to my mouse and finding tools and stuff like that. It's really good to get a productive flow going in your work. I found that early on is you need to have things that help you to work well in what you're doing, such as a tilting monitor tablet. Yeah, this thing was cool. I built it last year using old parts from an old monitor and this old Wacom tablet, and I love it for a fraction of what you could get with a Cintiq. And a Cintiq won't do this. I mean, it'll do everything except the tilty thing. So as you get around and you're refining the edge around his hair, get the fuzzy parts. Get these fuzzy parts, as you can see here, that look like the mask kind of didn't get very clear. And if you have spots on the inside that it looks like it selected too much, you could go ahead and fix those as well. So I'm going to speed this up so that you don't have to sit here and watch me go all the way around this guy's head, cleaning up things that the program missed. And I think I've about got it here, right on the edge. So we'll take a look at it. Looks good to me. So that is how to, using the selection tools, I used the lasso tool, and then I used refine mask. Actually, I created the mask from that selection, and then I used refine mask. So that's one way you can do it. There are other ways. This will help get a noisy background out of the way without trying to figure out how to use the magic wand tool is bad. So thank you. I hope you enjoyed this, and check around my channel. I've got some Illustrator tutorials, and then I have some other stuff just random all over the place. Have a good day. Thanks.